Hi, welcome to Simple Scuba. This is the Liquivision Xen computer. It's a bottom timer, so there's no decompression modelling or anything like that, but it is a very high specification OLED bottom timer. No buttons, it uses a very intuitive tap navigation system. Uses changeable batteries, lasts for ages, but it is user changeable and you can get rechargeable versions of the battery as well. And basically we're going to run through some of the features, see what it looks like with the OLED screen and show you some of the menus and the dive simulation. So Liquivision Xen, so just to summarise, it's a bottom timer only, so it doesn't give you any decompression information, but still features the great OLED screen, so it's really clear. Also uses the tap navigation, so there's no buttons built into the housing which might potentially lead to a flood or a risk situation. The computer itself is water activated, so when you jump in it will obviously turn on, but you can activate it using the tap navigation. So tapping on the top 3 times, turn the computer on. So there it's ready to dive. You can jump in now without having to set up anything else. As long as you know everything's set up, you can just jump in and dive. If you want to get into the menu system, tap again on the top and you're into the menu system. From here is a simple up and down navigation, so tapping on top, move it down, tapping on the bottom, move it up. So as you can see, just tapping will move that selection bar down through the menu system. If you hover over the one you want, so if I go to display settings, tap on either side, we'll select that menu. From here you've got loads of different settings, obviously brightness, auto dim, refresh, etc. With the screen you might notice some flickering as I'm moving it about, but that's just the way the camera picks it up. You won't notice that at all in real life. So if I scroll down through here, loads of different options, as I say. You can change the clock type, where it sort of falls into its own. If you go into the colours menu, every single piece of information that's displayed on the screen you can change the colour for. So if you want the current depth in a different colour, move over using the navigation and then you can basically change that colour. So you see it's changing between the different colours. There is a massive choice of colours. Once you get to the one you want, tap to the side, we'll move back into the menu and that's set. You can return it back to a default if you want. If you decide you don't like anything you've changed, you can turn it back to the default and you can start again. So very, very simple. So all of these can be changed. Loads and loads of choice. Going back down to the exit, obviously selecting will move you back one step. I'm going to show you a simulated dive. So we tap on the right to move into it. So this is a simulation dive. I'm just going to show you this just so you can see the screen when it's in use. I'm just going to change the depth so it's a bit deeper. So up and down obviously just to affect the depth. I'm just going to change the time as well. I'm going to make that a little bit less, let's make it 5 minutes. And it's 4 times speed, so it will appear faster than real life. Selecting start, we'll run through the dive simulation. So you can see everything's different colours. I changed the current depth colour to a slightly darker colour. So again, you can just change it to suit your own preferences. You can change the way that the current dive time is set, so you can have full minutes as numbers, but you can change the seconds into a sort of a bar graph. So loads and loads of configuration. All it can be changed, move around, all sorts of things. Obviously it's only a bottom timer, so it's not going to display things like your loading, ascent rates, things like that. It's purely maximum sort of depth, average depth, times, temperatures, things like that. So it's not going to give you decompression information. So it's going to come to the end of its dive and it will start ascending. See, the starts to ascend. So I'm just going to end it. But I'm also going to show this dark mode. So if you are in a dark situation, night dive or in a cave, you can obviously change it between a dark mode and the normal mode. So if you don't want all that light spilling out and obviously ruining your night vision, you can change it into a dark mode. So nice quick little setting. So I'm just going to stop that. Okay, so moving on. Alarms, obviously loads of different alarms in there, depths, times, things like that. In the preferences, you can change the units. You can change the log period, so how quickly it will record the depth, things like that. Tap sensitivity, so if you don't like it being so sensitive for tap, you can turn it down to a low or medium. Also change the way, how many taps it requires to activate it, so 3 or 5. Again, loads of choice, battery statuses, things like that. You can change the salinity, so fresh or salt, dive times, connect to a PC if you've got the interface. In dive log, I can show you some of the previous dives, so it records obviously all this information which you can view when you like. It will also show it as a graph, so you can quite in some detail see your dive profile. So okay, it's a fantastic, very feature-rich bottom timer. Obviously it's an expensive item, but the OLED makes it that much better than a standard depth timer. You've got all the same features, but loads and loads more. Especially useful if you're diving in sort of low light situations. You don't have to fumble around trying to find a backlight option. The LED screen is always lit. As a lock and shut off functions, the lock will basically just disable the tap navigation, and you can just tap it, enter the number when you need to unlock it, and then you can get back in. And shut off is literally put it into standby, so it won't burn any power. The LED screen is obviously switched off. So Liquivision Xen, bottom timer, OLED screen, use a changeable battery on the side. Fantastic little unit.